So just so you know,
Yes.
this is the matchup between the 2005 Player of the Year playing against the 2006 Player of the Year. How awesome is that?
That's pretty incredible. 2005 was a great year for Kenji Tsumura as he made 3 top 8s over the course of the season.
Jeez.
Kind of bonkers. But he took some time away from the game to focus on studies, ultimately dropping away, but not before obviously putting together a Hall of Fame quality resume. He's at one point one of the most feared players in the world at the game. Many thought they were the best player in the world during the time that he played. Shota Yasooka, however, has been chugging away for just as long as Kenji's been playing, obviously, the 2006 Player of the Year. This year, however, he's proven that he still has that staying power, making the finals of Pro Tour Dragon the Tarkir, only to turn around the next week and win the Grand Prix that followed. So this has just been an incredible year for him. We're guaranteed to see some just stellar top-flight play.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out about Shota Yasooka is, like, even during the Hall of Fame voting for last year, he got so many votes but just barely didn't make it in.
Mm-hmm.
And with that Pro Tour Finals and GP win, I think he's almost locked for next year. Or this year, I mean. It's the voting is going to happen in a couple months, right?
Certainly, yeah. Like last year, I actually voted for Yasooka instead of voting for Mihara. Like they kind of occupied the same slot for me. It was really tough. Mihara has more Pro Tour finishes, but Yasooka has like 19 Grand Prix top 8s, or just some like ridiculous number of Grand Prix top 8s, and just always has that success. And he's also, when you think of a Pro Tour and you think of wanting to know what decks people are playing, like the very first person that pops to virtually everyone's mind is what is Shota playing?
I mean, Shota is the ultimate like brewer / deck builder that you can find. He always brings something sweet to the Pro Tour, and I think this is why we were so keen on seeing him this weekend, because this format is not easy to build, and I think it's for Shota, it's probably one of the easiest challenges in the room.
Yeah, definitely. His opponent this round, though, again, we said Kenji Tsumura. Different than Kenji Egashira, although if we were to put Kenji Tsumura on the Chion list, he'd still probably rank higher than Paul, if I had to guess.
And you know, Kenji kept the one-lander.
Oh, my.
He mulliganed to 6 and kept 1 mountain. Okay, now he has 2. I'm not sure if that is helping, but being on 5 colors, I don't think that's a keep. He did mulligan a hand of 7 with forest and mountain at least. I thought I saw another land. But it's interesting to see that Kenji's on the greedy 5-color deck, and Shota is on a white-green deck.
Yeah, considering Shota has this nasty habit of mixing Cryptic Command and Eternal Witness and other cards that have significant mana costs.
Lightning Bolts.
Yeah. All right, well,
look how fast they're playing. This is incredible.
Oh, my goodness.
Breakneck speed?
All right. Are you ready to do this? Turbo casting. We can do this.
Okay.
All right, so Shota Yasooka on his side of the table has a Kami of Ancient Law alongside a Swans of Bryn Argal. Kenji Tsumura has spent his end step getting rid of that Fiery Fall in his hand, land cycling to get a Forest, freeing up additional cards in his hand. He's once again cycled the Fiery Fall away to get an island. Now he has access to 3 of the 5 colors of mana in his deck.
Yeah, how lucky to have drawn 3, the Fiery Fall into a Fiery Fall after a mountain as well, so that he could start going off. But he was trying to maybe set up for a Savage Twister that he has in his hand, but with the Swans of Bryn Argal, I don't think that's a good plan.
Now, for those of you who don't know what Swans of Bryn Argal does, it is a 4/3 flyer that has a special ability such that if any source would deal damage to it, it actually has that damage prevented, and that controller of that source of damage gets to draw additional cards. So, say Kenji Tsumura were to aim one of those Fiery Falls at a Swans of Bryn Argal, the damage would be prevented, the Swans would stick around, but Kenji would draw 5 cards.
Yeah, so it looks like a great idea. Well, Savage Twister, he gets to draw some cards, but with him already dropping down to 10 here, it's going to be on the receiving end of so much damage. Cards don't matter. Card advantage. Why? Doesn't matter, because Swans of Argal is beating down.
All right, I've had enough of this.
Okay, good. I already did a 3-minute seal with Yuya Watanabe.
I know, that was so good.
And then that was already super fast, so my batteries are a bit low this weekend already.
Swans, actually, it's one of those cards where it's actually a very, very powerful card. It's a 4-power flyer for 4 mana. Yeah. It's really hard to kill in this format. You have to either give it enough -1/-1. You have to reduce its toughness low enough for it to die by state-based effects, or you have to have a card that just flat out destroys a creature. It's going to win every combat. It's going to survive against a lot of the burn spells that exist. Kenji's been, hasn't even played a single permanent that wasn't a land right now, and he's already down to half his original life total.
Yeah, just play some more card drawing. There's an Etched Oracle, so with the 4 different colors of mana, he can make it into a 4/4 thanks to Sunburst. He can remove 3 counters at any time to draw 3 cards, which is nice. And I think he should start digging for answers to that Swans of Brenargol.
Yeah. It is interesting also to note, I don't know if it'll come into play right now, but Yasooka with, there's an arrest, which Yasuo knows that Kenji is going to sacrifice his creature immediately.
Yeah, but it should live, right? It still should be on the battlefield with that arrest.
Oh, he immediately sacrificed to draw cards.
Yeah, but you don't sacrifice the Edge Oracle. You remove counters. If I'm not mistaken, let me check that out.
Sure.
I don't want to spout something, but maybe it's sacrifice. I'm sorry.
I think it's removed the counters, but it removes
remove
all
4 cards.
of the counters.
Yeah, 4. Okay, you're right.
It's
It
effectively
removes 4
sacrificing
counters,
it. So
no, because we already saw Kentaro Yamamoto.
hey, it's like you called it. There's the Savage Twister that we talked about earlier, which effectively in this case is an opportunity for Kenji to deal 2 damage and kill the Kami of Ancient Law and draw himself 2 cards in the process.
I think Kenji has a Narcolepsy in his hand, so he's just trying to remove the Kami, draw 2 cards, then he's going to play a land, and Narcolepsy, that's those Swans.
And that's an absolutely brilliant turn of a play, because Narcolepsy is one of those cards that is capable... Oh, wow! Wow! The Apostle's Blessing prevents it from actually sticking, meaning that Shota Yasooka's Swans of Brenargol is going to be able to swing over for that final 4 points of damage, and Kenji just scoops it on up.
I mean, we wanted to go slower, but it's impossible. The pace of the play is just so fast. It reminds me of Shuhei Nakamura, who also plays at this kind of speed at Pro Tour level events, like playing for lots of pro points. He still plays this fast.
And now that we have a chance to kind of catch our breaths a little bit, like this is something that Kenji has been a bit out of the limelight for a few years, considering he's taken some time off and is kind of getting his feet back underneath him on the Pro Tour scene. But he's been famous for this for over a decade now. He's at the top level, playing super quick, making his decisions very fast, and I mean, he is playing at a Hall of Fame caliber level. His decisions are virtually always correct.
Yes. I mean, I've been always a little negative about this because I thought the Japanese players played a little too quickly for their liking, as in they didn't really have that much time to properly think about all the lines of play, and sometimes they could have thought a little more about some of the other options.
Yeah.
However, they usually make the right play, and it's also they kind of put the game in a state where they are the ones who are dictating the tempo of play.
Yeah.
And it's very unusual for the opponents to play at such a speed, and it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why they do it.
I mean, the thing is it's not only uncomfortable for opponents, as many of the guys in Twitch chat are pointing out right now, it's kind of tough to follow what's happening if you're kind of new to the game, because things move very quickly, and we've got enough little time right now. We could probably do just a little brief recap of what we just saw.
We could use an instant replay there, like a slow motion replay. So go ahead. So,
but the long and short of what happened during the course of that game is Yasooka ended up with a Swans of Brenargol on the table, which is a 4/3 flyer, and it prevents all damage that will be dealt to it, turning that damage effectively into card drawing for the person who has that source of damage. The most important thing about it right now is that it's a 4/3 flyer.
Yes.
Kenji started out of the gates a little bit mana screwed, kept a 1-land hand, drew into another land, and then had the ability to land cycle away to fill his mana base out. But he was spending precious turns doing that, which prevented him from actually contributing to the board. He had an answer to the Swans in his hand with a Narcolepsy. It and Arrest are 2 perfect kinds of cards, permanent answers that don't kill the creature, but leave it out there, which is even better for Kenji because it allows him to use things like Savage Twister, which we saw, to deal damage to it and turn them into card advantage for himself. Kenji made the great play of using a Savage Twister for 2 to kill the Kami of Ancient Law, which would have killed the Narcolepsy he was planning on using defense, and drawing himself 2 cards in the process, including drawing into the land he needed to play the Narcolepsy. But when he went to cast the Narcolepsy, Shota had Apostle's Blessing left in his hand and was able to use it for the Phyrexian mana cost, pay 2 life and a colorless, to give his creature protection from blue, making sure that the Narcolepsy never hit the Swans of Brenargol. And since Kenji was at 4 at that point, it was a lethal attack back.
Yeah, that's exactly what had happened. And it has been very interesting to see how Shota was the aggressor, and his plan was basically just deal as much damage as possible and try to protect his creatures. It was interesting also in the sense that he could have used the Apostle's Blessing to give protection to his Kami of the Ancient Law, to keep it in play, because Kenji did tap out for quite a lot, and that would have also enabled him to win by killing Narcolepsy, as you mentioned. But
Yeah.
I think Shota was just trying to play it safe, wanting to see maybe protect his Swans from Plummet, which
Yes.
is a card I think Kenji's sideboarding in.
Yes, I think I saw that as well.
And he's actually boarding quite a few cards. I think Kenji boarded like 7 cards. So maybe he thought he misbuilt his deck, or maybe he's trying to just put his deck in a better place against the aggressiveness of Shota Yasooka.
Certainly. There are. I had a very good question via Twitch. What happens if you play the card Combust on a Swans of Bryn Argyle? Since it would prevent the damage, but Combust prevents you from preventing the damage effectively. You, Mr. Matei, my expert friend, what happens in that situation?
First, what I would do, I would go and read the card.
All right, Combust says that it deals 5 damage. That damage cannot be prevented.
Yes. However, it says if a source would deal damage to Swans of Bryn Argyle, prevent that damage.
Yes.
So it can't be prevented, so Swans gets dealt 5. The question is not if the player draws 5 cards or no. And it says if the source's control draws cards equal to the damage prevented that way.
I can't.
So damage can be prevented. So it kills the Swans. Nothing. No cards get drawn. The Swans hit the deck.
And we learn a lot of things. That's another one of those very interesting card interactions that we've been seeing. Swans is one of those cards that it made its big name as a part of a deck featuring, was it Seismic Assault, I believe, as the card engine to effectively discard a land, deal 2 damage, and then turn that into more card drawing?
Yep, I lost to this in the semifinals of Slovakian Nationals. I lost to that deck, and the deck ended up winning the tournament.
Oh, wow.
It was a very good deck at that time.
Awesome.
But let's go back to the match between Kenji Tsumura, not Kenji Egashira. It's Kenji Tsumura, the former player of the year from Japan.
The 5th best Chion.
5th best Chion. Fair enough.
All right, so Shota Yasooka has started off with a Wayfarer's Bauble and, our good Yeti friend, the Carplucent Strider.
Yeah. 3/4, can't be targeted by blue or black spells, I believe.
Yes, Kenji has started off, a perfect 4 colors of mana for a turn 4 Etched Oracle with full 4 counters on it. This time around, he doesn't have the mana available to immediately remove those counters, so that Arrest is going to prevent him from ever actually using that ability.
Unless he has some maybe something to destroy some enchantments. He saw the Arrest in game 1, so maybe he boarded in something like Terash's Grasp or Sundering Vitae or something like that.
So Kenji has 5 mana available and has passed the turn back to Shota. Looks like he's got a Burst Lightning in his hand. Wouldn't be surprised to see that hit something. Yasuo has a Mole Drifter.
I love that card.
Everyone loves that card.
It's the best card.
Everyone's favorite elemental fish thing.
The fish thing?
It's a 2/2 flyer. When it comes into play, you get to draw 2 cards, or you can cast it for its evoke cost, which is slightly cheaper, allowing you to immediately sacrifice it, but draw still those 2 cards. So it's either Divination or it's a 2/2 flyer that is also a Divination.
And we just saw a Repeal being played on the Etched Oracle, drawing Kenji a card and being able to now replay the Etched Oracle while also keeping up a lamp to sacrifice it in case Shota Yasooka has some more removal here. Ooh, Mystic Snake, Narcolepsy. Shota's deck looks spicy.
It looks like a Shota's deck that's ever Shota a deck.
Yeah. Artisan of Kozilek, of course.
Yep.
Oh, Celestial Guildmate, sure.
Creatures that can counter spells, cards that can get creatures back from graveyards. The Selesnya Guildmage is the newest addition to Yasooka's side. He has the ability to pay both the white ability and the green ability, which let him either pump his entire team or continue to build his team by adding 1/1 green Saproling creatures to the battlefield.
It looks like Kenji also has Burst Lightning and Tribal Flame. Also has a Sunlance, so kills the flyer first.
It's quite a bit of removal.
He can't kill the Celestial Guildmage with the Sunlance, though. It says no on white.
Yep. That said, he does have enough to be able to Tribal Flames it away even through the pump. He'd have to Burst Lightning with Kicker through the pump, but he only has a single red source. Well, now that his Kozilek's Predator has hit the table. So
and look how smart he's playing. He's not playing the Burst Lightning or the Tribal Flame first. He's waiting, and he wants Shota to tap 4 to use the Celestial Guildmage's ability, which either puts a token or +1/+1. Yep, no, there you go. So he waits for him to use it, and he knows that Shota's greedy, and he is going to use it. Just because playing the Burst Lightning first would mean that Shota could use the mana to pump his team and get the Celestial Guildmage out of Burst Lightning range.
I see. All right. So Shota is sitting on 6 mana sources in play. I think we are going to see the Swans of Bryn Argyle that we saw
again
in that first game. Kenji is a little bit more poised to deal with it in this situation. He doesn't really have any flying defense. He also doesn't have his narcolepsy, and he doesn't have any real way, I take it back now, to deal with it.
You know what he can do? Tribal Flames the Swans, draw 3. Sacrifice Edge Oracle, draw 3. Try to find an answer.
I think what you meant to say was Tribal Flames, the Swans,
yeah.
draw 4, because he just played fourth basic land
Oh,
type.
sorry, I did not notice that basic land. That's nice. And you see Kenji has the Tribal Flames on top. He's like, this is really tempting.
Yeah, how much would you be willing to pay to draw 4 cards? 2 mana?
2 mana is fine, yeah.
I wouldn't be willing to pay a mana more, though.
Yeah, he actually is targeting the Carpusan Strider, though.
Okay. Kenji, why don't you want to have fun?
Yeah, come on, Kenji.
Don't you love drawing cards like I do? Who wants to win the game? All right, so Kenji has burned away the Carpusan Strider, which gives him the ability to start attacking in. So this is a fun little trade right here, because instead of trading off the Etched Oracle for 3 cards, he gets to trade it off for 4 cards this time around.
Oh, nice. So the damage is prevented. Swans of Brunargo survives, and Kenji just drew 4 cards off of that. I think he also has a Blinding Soul Eater and another Kozilek's Predator.
That Blinding Soul Eater is going to be very important, because that's another one of those cards that's capable of stopping the Swans from attacking. But
I mean, how close he is to something like Emrakul or something, or any of the Eldrazi. He has 8 mana and 3 Eldrazi tokens, so he can cast Ulamog if he wanted to.
We keep hoping. Don't toy with my emotions. Like, the day that I get to see an Eldrazi hit the table is the day that I'm going to be a very happy man. Hopefully that day is today or tomorrow.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would like to see a sweet draft deck featuring a Kozilek or Ulamog.
Would you be willing to be that guy to first pick it to go for that, or are you?
Sure, yeah, I do that.
All right.
I try.
I'm glad to know we're in the same boat.
I mean, just with cards like Kozilek's Predator, Rampant Growth, and Dread Drone and whatnot, maybe possible. So Narcolepsy is going to get played there. So
all right, so the Narcolepsy will stop the tapper, ironically tapping it.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, it still untaps, and he can use it in his upkeep to at least tap some blockers, because this game has evolved into a proper race.
Yes.
Swamp?
The Swans of Bryn Argol, we actually saw during that last attack what the drawback to them is. Getting to trade off your creature, yes, you're effectively losing, but you're cashing each of those creatures that die in for a large number of cards. And it never, I mean, it was a rare when it was first printed. It's a rare here as well, so it doesn't show up in limited very often. It's a 4/3 flyer for 4. It's a very big creature, but it comes with a very big drawback as well.
Yeah, and it's a cool card, I think. Like, overall, it's just, it does something different.
Agreed. Designs like that are they're always very nice when they're pulled off elegantly like this. All right. So Yasooka is down to 11. Tsumura is down to 7.
Yeah, now Shota has this, had the choice. He went with Cathodian, leaving a Mystic Snake mana, which Mystic Snake 4 mana creature with flash that counters a spell when it enters the battlefield. But he also could have played an Ulamog's Crusher as well. And this racing situation might get very interesting, because Kenji just drew a Burst Lightning with Kicker. That's 4 damage. He's already attacking here, putting Shota down at 8. So very much in range. But with that Mystic Snake in hand and Kenji a grip full of lands, I wonder if he can pull it off here.
And as it stands right now, Kenji's losing this race, right?
Yep,
I mean, he's got because he dies in 2 turns to that Swans.
Correct. But yeah.
All right.
Unless he has an answer to the counter, because he has a virtual 2-turn clock counting this turn as well, because he's going to attack for 6 and play the Burst Lightning. But he's just going to play it immediately on the Swans, trying to draw an answer. I think Shota's going to Mystic Snake here. Yeah, there it is. So that gets countered unless Kenji has something.
Yep, simply accepts it and puts it into the graveyard. All right, Kenji has a couple of blockers for the potential ground attackers for Shota. I don't think Shota even bothers with that. He leaves his creatures back to defend, right, and attacks with this flyer.
Yep, I think so. I mean, there's no point in attacking through the Eldrazi spawn tokens unless you suspect something. There, Shota has a Ulamog's Crusher and Artisan Kozilek in his hand.
Oh my!
He can Artisan back Muldrifter or Celestial Guildmage.
Okay.
That's just gross. So Kenji down to 3 from that attack, and with a grip full of lands, does he have an answer?
There's the Crusher.
Yep, just 1 short off of the Artisan Kozilek. So upkeep, Soul Eater untaps. It
Taps
can
it.
tap the Crusher, and now, ooh, okay, Electrolyze. That's a card.
Or 3 cards, depending on if you decide to go ahead and swing it at
Indeed.
the Swans of Bryn Argol. This is a very interesting turn. Like, Kenji needs to... He has to draw into an answer to the Swans this turn,
Yes.
right?
That's why shooting the Swans makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Because it draws in the most cards. He's just trying to figure out how it's going to work with his mana and what mana can he keep up. What can he draw? His deck looks actually pretty solid.
Yep.
Some nice red removal spells, some ramp.
Now let's look a little bit deeper. Say he does draw, say, an Arrest or something to stop that. He's still facing down an Ulamog's Crusher, which is far bigger than anything that he's got on the table right now.
Yeah, true. But he has some Eldrazi spawn. He can sacrifice some lands that he has and still be able to block.
Okay.
It just depends if he wants to attack in this turn or no.
Okay.
So, Electrolyze. Is it time? Yep.
All
She
right.
shoots the Swans of Bryn Argol. It's going to get prevented. And Kenji's going to go 3 cards here.
So he'll draw 2 cards for the 2 damage that was prevented and 1 for the draw card line on Electrolyze itself. So he's traded that card in for 2 more. Looks like he found himself. Is that a Fiery Fall?
He can keep drawing more cards, but I don't think that's going to help him here.
Yeah. Did he also draw
I think he has 2 Fiery Fall.
Okay. So now our question becomes, I haven't seen... Kenji has a green card in his hand, but I haven't been able to get a clear glimpse onto what it was.
Yeah, I think he might try to
It's the Plummet.
He does have Plummet?
I think it's the Plummet.
Maybe he wants to draw 5 more cards by playing Fiery Fall and then plummeting.
Yeah, has he been just milking the Swans this entire time
Maybe.
for cards before planning on plummeting at the last second? Oh man, I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Oh.
All right, so
did you see the instant block
Yep.
from Shota? Like, not hesitating. Like,
Yeah.
double block, I go to... I want to stay at 8.
Shota knew this attack was coming on his turn.
yeah.
So
And it doesn't make sense to just block with 1 just because of the Blinding Soul Eater.
Yep. Kenji's going to count the cards left in his deck because he knows he's going to draw another
Jeez.
giant trunk.
Oh, yeah. He's
All
doing
right.
it. Fiery Fall your Swans.
Wow.
Draw 5.
All right, so Kenji Tsumura takes advantage of that Swan's, we'll call it a drawback, to draw 5 cards off of that Fiery Fall
He's going to have to
before
discard.
aiming that Plummet to kill it. Absolutely milking. That's so awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, draw some cards, draw some cards. Oh, I'm in my 12th turn. I have to discard some cards. I'm sorry, I have
Yeah.
way too many. Yeah, this is limited.
He's down to 3, and what he doesn't know is that Shota has a Artisan of Kozilek in his hand, so he'll be
Yes.
able to get that Swans back on this turn.
There's this attack with the Crusher, trigger Annihilator, so it has to sacrifice 2 permanents.
All right.
And then chump blocking with that. And there's the Artisan Kozilek,
Oh,
so
man.
another huge Annihilator guy, 10-9 for 9 mana, and also being able to bring back a creature from his graveyard to play. Brings back the Swans because he saw that's the best way to kill Kenji. And again, he has the 1-turn clock again. I think Kenji has a Ether Snipe in his hand.
Okay.
We're still in his upkeep though. He's going to tap down the Artisan.
So
Skargan Firebird as
Firebird.
well. Yeah, that's but it costs 6. So with lands he had to sacrifice to the Annihilator triggers, Kenji maybe can be in trouble here.
I mean, if you... Let's see, can Kenji... What's the evoke cost on Ether Snipe? Is it 3?
On Ether Snipe,
Yeah.
it is 3. Yes.
So he would have enough if he wanted to evoke the Ether Snipe potentially, and then cast the Skargan Firebird after combat?
yeah, we'll see. So I don't think he's
possible.
gonna evoke it. He has his own Swans.
Oh, wow.
I think he boarded that in.
Oh, that's incredible.
So Ether Snipe, put you down to 5.
And then play a Swans post-combat.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So we found a perfectly... Now, what happens when 2 Swans fight each other?
I have no idea. I mean, now Shota can attack with both his creatures. Kenji will have to sacrifice 4 permanents and block both with the Eldrazi spawn. But I mean, Kenji could block, for example, the 10-9 and force Shota to draw like 10 cards.
Yeah.
And maybe try to do it again the following turn or something.
Oh, wow.
That also would be pretty sweet.
This is incredible.
I mean, the Crusher has to attack. There's no choice.
Talk about turning a drawback into a... Wow, that's amazing.
This is one of the best matches of Magic I've ever seen.
This is fantastic. So we've had Kenji Tsumura fighting off of Swans of Bryn Argyle, using it to his advantage to draw through his deck before finally dispatching it, only to draw one himself and potentially use it to deck his opponent in a game of Magic.
In a game of limited Magic.
In a game of limited Magic. Good point. All right, the Crusher comes along.
Yeah.
Shota decides not to attack him with the Artisan.
Yeah, I don't think he's blocking with the Swans, though. I mean, there's way too many cards in Shota's library, so I think he maybe would have been tempted if that Artisan of Kozilek had attacked. But now it's also the problem with the Blinding Soul Eater always untapping.
Yeah.
That he can tap down the one blocker. Shota's on 5 only, and the board is pretty big, and I think Kenji might have the win here.
Yeah, he might have. Does he have lethal on board, assuming Shota has nothing? Tap down one of the 2 creatures, and then he has 3 attackers?
Yep, he has to tap the Swan because he doesn't want to get decked.
Yeah.
Just in case. And
Wow.
does Kenji have it here? I think he still also has Fiery Fall, which I don't think is relevant at all. But well, if Shota has nothing, then it's over. But
I mean,
I'm pretty sure he's sandbagging something here. It's Shota Yasooka.
Yeah, he has access to, looks like 5 mana now. I think that Sphere is out. So Kenji, you can tell that this is important because Kenji has slowed down. Like, he hasn't just immediately turned his creatures sideways.
No, he's trying to figure out what can Shota have. And there's plenty of cards. It could be Scatter the Seeds, Raise the Alarm.
Yep.
Could be some sort of trick, maybe like a Vapor Snag even.
Is it possible Kenji just passes here?
Ooh, I don't think so. I would I would at least think about attacking with the Swans to put Shota down to 1 and then play a Skargan Firebird.
Okay.
But it's also risky just because then okay,
Just go for it.
Yeah. Wait.
Show me what you got, kid.
He always wanted to do that.
Yep.
Shota Yasooka, are you sandbagging a removal spell here?
No, he's lined up his blockers, so it's clearly not one of the instant speed creatures. What do we have? Repeal, a couple of other options like that.
He does have repeal, I think.
All right. So this is a lethal attack. Shota didn't immediately
How many
scoop up his cards. 7, 8, something like that?
Yeah. It's still plenty.
Yeah. Oh, that's adorable. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 Swans of Bryn Argyle on table right now. Both tapped.
Yeah, but one, the one from Shota Yasooka enabled Kenji to draw infinite cards.
Yeah.
It could. How does it actually work if both players were low on cards and Kenji would pull off Savage? Okay, repeal. Okay.
Okay, so there's the repeal.
Shota does have something. It is a repeal.
Kenji is going and looking through his graveyard to try to figure out what the 7 or 8 cards left in his deck are.
Yep.
All right. It is decision time. Puts it back in his hand. That was going to happen. He didn't have any way to stop that. Still gets in for 3.
Down to
knocking
2.
Yasooka down to 2. His Aether Snipe died to the Artisan of Kozilek.
He's maybe if he has one more Burst Lightning, he could,
Possible.
play the Fiery Fall on the Swans and try to draw into it, or a Tribal Flames.
Oh, man.
That would be amazing.
If that's what happens. Okay, looks like he's just going to replay the Swans. Unless something drastic changes right here.
Yeah, I mean, remember he has to present a lot of blockers. So it's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gnarlid Pack, Cathodian, go.
Okay, so Shota just needs to have a removal spell to get the... it might not actually be enough, because still there's an Eldrazi Spawn token there.
But if he has if he has a blue, white, or green removal spell, it's certainly getting rid of the Swans, which would leave the path clear for the Swans. But it doesn't look like he's got it. He's got Kenji tapped out, but...
this is awesome.
Oh, man.
Swing with everything. Do it.
You know what's even greater on top of this is the fact that Kenji's at such a low number of cards in his library, and he's forced to block his Swans and the other Swans.
I mean, he can block the Artisan to force Shota to draw 10.
Oh, man.
10 cards.
No, he can't block it, because if he blocks it, he dies to the Swans.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
He has to block there, but it would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but has to block the Swans. Both players will get to draw 4 cards.
Man.
You see, there's like 7 cards in Kenji's library.
My fan fiction of this game is going to end a little differently than the game actually would have ended, but I would have loved to see that Swans go to town on that.
I would have loved to see double Swans and Savage Twister for like 8 or something, just to see what happens.
Man, we told, for all of you who stuck around instead of going over to check out the Utrecht coverage, we told you were going to get something sweet. And man, has this game ever delivered. This match has been fantastic.
So both players drawing 4 there because the Swans of Bernardo bounced off each other. Sure, why not?
Oh, man.
Kenji had already sacrificed so many lands.
I wouldn't be able to control my laughter at this point. I mean, I'm already unable to. This is unreal.
And it looks like Shota is going to just add to the board. He has Lower Skate Cold, Bestial Menace.
Yeah, but
just more good cards.
Don't.
Oh, Pelaka Worm.
Oh, wow.
Gain 7.
Wow, that's a big game.
Blinding Soul Eater as well.
Okay. That changes things significantly.
Yes, because now that Kenji has no lands, this is a major problem.
He's got down to 5 lands left.
3 cards in his library.
3 cards in his library, and Shota's catapulted himself up to 9 life.
But I think he has the win if he has a land, right? Unless
he has a land in his hand?
Sorry?
He has a land in his hand. Okay,
I think he could pay Phyrexian mana to tap the Pelaka Worm with his Blinding Soul Eater, play a land, play Fiery Fall. Or
dropping to 1 in the process.
Sure. Yeah. I think he still has Fiery Fall in his hand, right? Yeah, he kept it. So now he's going to kill and swing for 10.
Wow.
Kenji Tsumura.
That's incredible.
Wow, what a game.
What a game. Wow, spent that entire time stringing out that Swans of Bernardo so that he could draw so many cards.
So he went down to 1 life and 3 cards in his library, or 2? 2 cards in his library.
Wow. Every resource available. It's matches like this that make me incredibly happy that I've gotten to watch them.
I don't think in my 2.5 years of casting Magic, I don't think I've seen a more epic game than this one.
Wow, it's so awesome.
Yeah, especially it's so on point for Modern Masters weekend.
Yes.
Which is great.
Oh, wow. So, Hall of Famer, a potential and likely future Hall of Famer, doing battle at 5-0, middle of the day, very first kickoff event. There's still 3 additional Grand Prix that are going to be taking on over the course of the weekend. This match is one match of many that are going to be played. If we can get any more matches that are this caliber,
no, I don't think so. I think round 6 here at Modern Masters, that's a wrap. Closed up. We've had the best game of the weekend. Everyone just watch this one game and we're done.
Yeah, take that, everyone. Casting all of the other Grand Prix this weekend. Matei and I have already won.
Yep.
You can go home.
GG.
We don't need you to do work.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is an epic game.
So what was your favorite part of that game? What was your favorite moment in that game? I know mine.
I think just how it actually worked out that the final turn was Xaxes to 1 life, and exactly the lands that he had left were exactly enough to kill his opponent.
Oh, wow.
But it's just string I'll Trouble Flames. I'll Electrolyze it, draw 3, and Plummet here. It was awesome.
My favorite moment of that match was when Kenji's hand dipped a little bit, and we got to see that he also had his Swans in his deck. Swans of Bernardo has been, it's just done work. It's the card that completely closed Kenji out in the first game, and the card that completely allowed him to claw back in the second game.
Nate, I think we need a recap.
Yes.
Because that was also very fast towards the end. And some players must have missed what was so awesome about the game. So I'll start off with basically saying it was like a race. Both players had creatures, but the key was that Swans of Bernardo wasn't played for Shota.
Yeah.
Kenji used a lot of burn spells to draw cards before Kenji was able to kill with a Plummet. And Kenji thought, now we're in a great spot. Then Shota decided to play the Artisan Kozilek, which brought back the Swans of Bernardo, and Kenji was on the back foot again.
Yes.
But what happened next?
Kenji manages to have his own Swans of Bernardo to put into play to do battle against his opponent's Swans of Bernardo. Then the match continues with both players kind of flooding the board out at that point, getting in for a little bit more, until ultimately a Pelaka Worm catapulted Shota up nearly out of victory. Kenji's able to tap down to 1 life, tap all of his creatures and attack for exact amount of damage.
Thanks to the 1 removal spell he kept in his hand. And I think this game can't be more epic, and starts off with the Blinding Soul Eater on both sides of the board. So I think we're going to slow down a little bit. This game's going to be much slower.
Yeah. All right, so Tribal Flames for 3. Looks like it's being aimed at the Blinding Soul Eater on Yasooka's side. Both players have some incredibly powerful decks.
Look, Shota's just like, I'll tap it down for 2 life.
Yep.
It's worth it. He just wants to get in for 3 here. Both players' decks are really good and fun to watch as well.
Kenji has a lot of removal in his deck. Most of it's red removal. Shota also has a reasonable amount of power in his deck. Some blue removal, some blue card drawing, some green creatures. That Air of the Wild is going to get very big very soon.
Yeah.
Or Sign of the Wild, I'm
Silent.
sorry. Yeah. With the Bestial Menace sitting in Shota's hand.
It's awesome.
Cone of Creatures? I think
Cone
it was
of Creatures,
yeah.
yeah, that's right. Reminding us of Cone of Flame, one of the best uncommon, limited uncommon cards that we've seen in the past years. The Rampant Growth for Kenji, so that he fills up domains almost. He has 4 different land types, so his Tribal Flames in the future might be even more powerful. Leaves the mana for the Soul Eater, maybe Firefall, land cycling, or something like that. But that Bestial Menace is going to be really good here. It's how do you overpower Blinding Soul Eater, a tapper? Just play 3 creatures with 1 spell.
Yep. For those of you who don't know what Bestial Menace does, it brings out 3 different token creatures, a 1/1, a 2/2, and a 3/3, filling the board with creatures and effectively acting as a permanent +3/+3 to that Scion of the Wild. So it has become a 5/5 creature. So now he has a 5/5, 2 3/3s, a 2/2, and a 1/1, all on Yasooka's side.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, it's a 3/4, which is even better.
A 3/4, I'm sorry. Yeah,
but still, it's like with 1 turn he put Savage Twister. Yeah, sure, that's a way to deal with that.
Why do I even bother to set things up if players are just going to knock them down?
Yeah. I mean, too bad there's not a Swans of Bernardo in play. Can you do like, draw 5, sweet. There's a board wipe. Oh, there's a Swans.
That would have been. By the way, Swans of Brynargle also prevents damage that you deal to it. So if he'd been able to play his own Swans of Brynargle beforehand.
Let me just say this,
yes?
Nate. Here we go. Oh, never mind. That's an arrest. But it stays in play. Shota being aggressive with his Mold Drifter.
Kenji can still turn all of his burn spells into card drawing if he so chooses.
Yep. And I think Kenji, he can I can Burst Lightning my own Swans and draw 4 for 5 mana. This is like instant speed tidings.
Yeah. Would be willing to pay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's better than whatever Jace came up with.
Yeah. So much for being ingenious.
Yep.
Yeah. And there we go. Talked about
whatever.
it.
Yeah. I want to draw 4 here.
This is one of the goofiest matches of Magic that I've watched,
yeah,
but it's still
it's starting. I told you, it's happening again.
The ephemeral, any being that harms them quickly learns its lesson. The lesson that Kenji Tsumura has learned this match is that it should continue to harm them.
Shota decided to repeal the Swans. So that Kenji does not draw 4 cards. He could have repealed his arrest or something, but he just doesn't want him to draw it, even though he puts it into Kenji's hand again.
Oh wow, that's incredible. That is another one of those plays that you don't see do particularly up. I'd like to repeal the creature that I have already cast arrest on.
Yeah.
All right, Kenji goes to replay the Swans, now deprived sadly of his drawing 4 cards.
Oh yeah, poor him.
I would be sad.
He needs the Swans so that he can trigger Bloodthirst on his Skagan Firebird.
Yeah. All right, so Shota is still free to attack in. Normally you would be wary of attacking into a 4/3. I think he's probably still free to attack in that Mold Drifter, right? He's got Kenji down to 10. Mold Drifter effectively drawing 4 cards and dealing a bunch of damage isn't a bad trade for that card, right?
I mean, Shota has a Narcolepsy, but I think he's worried after seeing double Fiery Fall and all those burn spells from Kenji. And if he does that, he might start attacking, but Kenji will be able to draw a lot of cards.
Okay.
Or maybe find a way to still get maximum use out of the Swans. So.
Well, would he be saving the Narcolepsy for just anything else at this point? Not worried about racing?
Yeah, look, he probably wants to draw 2 cards. We know, no blocks. So Kenji down to 8. That's interesting. And now there's the Narcolepsy.
Okay. So we found 2 different enchantment-based ways to keep that Swans of Brynargal from being able to get into attack. But
you see what he can do? He can Electrolyze, pinging his Swan for 1 and Shota for 1, so they can trigger Bloodthirst on the Skagan Firebird. Still gets to draw 2 cards off of that.
What an awesome,
his
what
deck
an
is
awesome
sweet.
turn! Yeah,
I love this match. I love Magic.
Yeah. I I'm almost dumbfounded at the things that I'm being able to see right
Aw.
here. All right.
No Scargan Firebird. Come on, Kenji. That would have been epic. Oh,
What are you talking about? He gets to sacrifice the creatures. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's even better. So 6/6 flyer.
And a 3/3 after dealing 1 damage to its opponent, drawing 2 cards.
Yeah, sweet.
A wholly reasonable change for that.
As our chat likes to say, that's balance.
Yeah. Oh man. I am in love with swans.
Yeah, I mean, Scargan Firebird. Oh, Air Servant.
Oh
That's
wow.
a card as well. Can tap down any flying creature for just for 3 mana. It looks like Shota Yasooka is out of cards. Oh, look, Moldrifter's a flyer.
Yeah. You know what else is a flyer? A swan. Should actually go ahead
Should
and
it
draw
show up? Yeah. Yeah, Shota down to 1 here from the attacks. Yeah, you can just like, yeah, I'll play Rampant Growth. I don't want any more lands in my deck.
Wow.
Shota. There was an
Ulamog
Ulamog
Crusher.
Crusher. Just turned too late.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe a couple turns too late, to be honest.
I will attack you for 2.
Yeah, he has an Apostle's Blessing, but I don't think that's helping. I think Kenji, after that epic game 2,
Wow.
is going to take the match.
All right.
Yeah,
wow.
there's-
So, the Hall of Famer takes it down.
Wow.
Kenji Tsumura, that game was that whole match was just incredible.
Yeah, I think we would struggle to find a better Magic game in all of coverage, not just GPs, but Pro Tours including.
Yeah.
That was just if you just tuned in, make sure to